down here checking on the pawpaws. I have wanted to raise pawpaws for a long, long time. And I planted these 2 trees here. And I planted a couple way down in the woods behind the house. Only one has survived down there, and it doesn't grow very much, doesn't grow very well. These 2, as you can see, are doing well. And then I've planted multiple different ones there. So I planted another one there this spring. That one's a different species or variety, whatever it's called. So these 2 are sunflower. I think that one's PA gold. But anyway, I wanted to make this really quick, but here I am rambling already. So pawpaw trees, I love pawpaws, and I'll have to look up, I'll put in the description box below some of the details. So a few years ago at Sun Nurseries, I guess it's Woodbine, Maryland, I tasted pawpaws for the first time. Loved them. You can't find them in grocery stores because by the time that they're ripe, then they're really close to being kind of like an overripe banana, and they don't store long and they don't travel. You can't ship them very well, etc., etc. So I have eaten a couple this year, my first year, and I've given a couple away, and I was so happy to get some fruit. Huh. What is that? Praying mantis nest or some other kind of nest. Pawpaws aren't supposed to have many predators. What's the word? Pests. But here's a couple of, there's another one over there. I have to try to figure out if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Gosh, I hope it's not those stupid lantern flies. Anyway, where was I? I don't even know. So I'm coming out here to see, because it suddenly got colder at nights, and so I'm coming out here to see if there's any pickable. And usually I think you know that they're ripe when they fall on the ground. I'm not seeing any still on the tree, and there weren't very many, so there has to be some cross-pollination, I guess. And these 2 are the same variety, so I didn't expect any this year, but I got some. So here I see a couple on the ground there, and there something's chewing on that. So let me shut you off and get those out from under there. Yeah, I waited way too long for these. Only a few days have gone by, but the cold temperatures, I guess, made them ripen very, very quickly. So let me look around for some more. Well, I only see one under this tree, down there in the grass. And I don't see any others in the tree. I think all the green ones are gone. But as I was digging around in the tree, something stung me in the eye. Not in the eye, but just above the eye. What the heck? Ah. Snakes, spiders, stinging things in my eyeball. What the heck? Anyway, so I'm gonna try to grab that one also. Okay, so I have 3 I'm salvaging just because I'm gonna get the seeds out. I have a neighbor that wants to try to propagate them, so I'm gonna get the seeds out of those. In the meantime, if you want to know about pawpaws, please study up, because I am not an expert at any of this. But their leaves are very large, and they look kind of tropical when you see them in the woods. And there's one leaf at the top, and then they alternate, and I don't know the proper terms. So the leaves are not straight across from each other, they alternate. One way I can always recognize a pawpaw is pawpaws have this little piece sticking up from the leaf stem. So that's one way to tell. Oh, my grand dog is here. So Willie is finally not barking, but my grand dog is over there on the deck barking. Anyway, so those are pawpaws. I'm going to dig the seeds out and I'll show you how large the seeds are. They require stratification, so they require being cold. So placed in the refrigerator for a period of time and then put into dirt to try to sprout, germinate. So there's my pawpaw trees. I'm very happy. I am 5'4" and I come up to here. So that's how tall they've gotten. I've protected them. I put this fence around them to protect them from being scraped by deers when the deer are doing their deer rubs. I need to fix this a little bit though. It's gotten too constricting. But I found that a couple of years they weren't growing any taller, and deer don't like to eat pawpaw leaves, but the highest part, when it was lower, it had something like this, that new growth. Deers apparently kept snipping that off, and so my trees didn't get any taller at all. As soon as I put more, I put this kind of dome-shaped PVC pipe in here that was taller than the tree, and I hung ribbons on it so they flapped in the wind, and that kept the deer off of it, and then it just shot up like crazy. They do like some fertilizer, but really early in the spring, I think is what I read a couple times, real early in the spring. I do remember that it's 10-10-10 that they like. I can't tell you though what months. So I'm gonna go get the seeds out and show you the seeds. Okay, here's the fruit. Way overripe. When they're edible, and they're good when they're mostly still green with a few brown spots. So these are all brown now, and they are way past being edible. I wanted to show you the size. So these are as big as my hand. The pawpaw golds I've had in the past are smaller. They're closer to, I don't know, maybe a tennis ball, lemon, something like that. The Susquehanna variety that I've had are even bigger than this. So I'm very pleased that these are so big, and I hope next year I do a little better at catching the timing and that kind of thing. So this one I split open. The seeds, and this is way too mushy, but when they're edible, the fruit are edible, they're just a little firmer than that, and it's very much like a custard in there. I eat it by scraping it out with a spoon, and then you can see how big the seeds are, right? And so here's a seed. So the seeds have this kind of, not just fruit, but there's like a membrane around it. Like when you're peeling an egg and there's that membrane or whatever in there. So you clean that off and you get that little bit of, I don't know what to call it other than a membrane, but you get that off of there, and then you put them in a moist paper towel, is my understanding. Do your own research. Put them in a baggie and put them in the fridge and let them be cold for a long period of time. So I actually stratified and germinated the two pawpaw trees that I planted in the woods. There's only one still surviving. Oh, I don't even know if we can zoom in on it. There's a T-post, if you can see it. Where's my finger? Oh, I'm zoomed in so far my finger's just going to block the camera. So down there where the T-post is, I have one planted. And then I have another one that I planted up here a little farther. And that's the only one that has survived, but it's not done very well. And they're understory trees, so they want to be in the shade more than out in the open, direct sun. So, the two that I had planted in the woods were ones that I actually stratified, germinated, and grew, but I didn't know that they were growing. So I picked the seeds, I got the seeds, cleaned them up, put them in a moist paper towel, put them in a baggie, put them in the fridge, left them there over the winter, pulled them out in the early spring, put them in coffee cans, plastic coffee cans with potting soil, moistened it, and put it out on the deck with the lids on it. And every once in a while I'd add a little moisture. They never sprouted, never sprouted. And then it was very hot in the summer. I don't know if it was July, August, but it was super hot, and I was cleaning off the balcony, and I just opened those coffee cans to throw them out because I thought, this is junky coffee cans full of dirt that's, you know, whatever. And when I opened it and dumped it out, one of the seeds had just barely germinated. And so I put it back together, took care of it properly, and I had 2 pawpaw trees sprout. And I brought them up here and planted, and then that's the only survivor of that story down there. So they take a super, super long time to germinate and grow. At least they did for me. If you know what you're doing, you might get it done more quickly. But that's my pawpaw story. This flesh is delicious when you pick it at the right time. It's kind of like a custard. I always want to say banana flavor, but it's not, because banana flavor is super strong. This is just creamy deliciousness that has a hint of banana, and to me maybe a hint of pineapple, but a lot of people say mango. I don't like mangoes at all, and I love pawpaws. So I don't know if it has kind of a mango flavor. But anyway, that's my pawpaw story. I'm going to put links in the description. I'm going to see if I can find I think I did a blog post about sun nurseries and my pawpaw experience years ago. I'll put links to that. I'll try to put a link to a pawpaw book that talks about pawpaws being a native fruit-bearing tree of North America and that kind of thing. I'll see if I can dig up that link and put it there. I am so excited that I am able to harvest my own pawpaw seeds. I am going to give some to a neighbor, and some I will try to propagate for myself. I used a paper towel to rub the fruit and that membrane from the seeds. As you can see, the seeds are large. Looking back and reviewing my pawpaw journey so far, I see that this has not been a quick process for me. I heard about pawpaws around 2015 when I bought my land. It interested me to learn that the pawpaws are a native fruit tree of North America. Checking my old blog, I see that my first pawpaw taste test was in 2016 at Sun Nurseries near Woodbine, Maryland. Unfortunately, I don't believe they still sell pawpaws, but I have seen them listed recently on Stark Brothers. You can also find them in some small nurseries that specialize in fruit plants and trees. These are very small pawpaw fruits on the seedlings that were growing on my balcony at the apartment before I moved. I had found one farm store in Maryland that sold fresh pawpaw in season. At that store, I was also able to purchase pawpaw bread. It was very similar to banana bread or coffee cake, and it was delicious. Pawpaws can be eaten fresh, in breads, or in smoothies. These 2 pawpaws are from my very own trees this year. This is what they look like when they are just ripe enough to eat. Notice a mostly green color with some brown spots. The fruit also squeezes a bit, like a ripe avocado. I have learned lessons from the pawpaws. I have learned to go ahead and plant trees. They may grow slowly, they may take a long time to fruit, but even if they're not here for me, they'll be here for the future. If the original plan doesn't work out, make adjustments, try again. Just never give up. Dream big, work hard, have faith, and be thankful.